Hi, Fitness Method family. As you know, our first Saturday class is coming up on April 27th. Now, with that being said, we also do programming, strength training on Saturdays as well. We are still going to provide that, as the strength training is going to be very important for you guys to keep in your weekly routine. So just as we do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, that is going to remain the same. Now, if you're wondering, do I take the 10 a.m. class on Saturdays or do I do the strength training that TFM is providing? You can do both. When do you do it and at what time? It would be best if you could do the strength training prior to class, because as we know, class is going to be more cardio based. Or if you had to do it later in the day, or you wanted to at least separate the two trainings, it's still okay if you did the cardio in the morning and the strength training later in the day. It would be wise to refuel in the middle and then come back. Or you could still do the strength training. It doesn't have to be in stone, where we provide on Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Maybe Friday you couldn't come in and take class, but you could come in and do the strength training that was ahead for Saturday, and then when you come to Saturday's class, you just take Saturday's class. That will also work as well. As a reminder, it's really important to utilize the strength training that we're providing and to come on this side and use the machines and perform the exercises that we're doing for you. The reason why is because that's going to build a nice steady foundation and stability for all the functional movements we do when we're in class. So lat pull downs gets you better at your kipping pull-ups or your kipping toes to bar, things like that, okay? Leg machines will help you stay more stable when we're performing squats when we're not on a machine. Okay, so keep that in mind as we keep providing these videos for you. Hi everyone, welcome to Saturday's strength training. We're going to be doing biceps, triceps, and core today. Kicking us off is going to be single arm cable overhead extension. I think we had this maybe like a month ago, all right? So I'm going to press that up like a shoulder press. I want to make sure from my shoulder to my elbow, that part does not move. All right, I'm going to keep it either even with my ears, or I'm trying to keep it out of my peripheral vision. My palm is going to be up the whole time, or when I come down. All right, locking it out at the top, right, straightening out that elbow all the way. How low do I go? Kind of like a V, or at least past parallel for sure. All right, so not stopping too short, passing parallel, right back up. The elbow's going to want to turn out. I'm going to pull it in. I'm going to make sure I'm not shrugging, making my neck disappear. All right, I'm using my lower traps to pull down. Again, keeping my shoulder to my elbow in the same position. This is going to be 5 sets of 8 reps. Our next movement that you're going to be supersetting with our overhead cable extension over there is going to be preacher curls with dumbbells, okay? So I'm on the preacher curl machine. Just going to bring my dumbbells over here. I want that seat to where my arms are inclined down, all right? If I was lower, right, if my seat was lower, my arms would be way up here, all right? So at least I want my arms inclined down, and then you're just going to do that by adjusting the pin that's on the other side, right, up or down through there. All right, so for me, I'm in a good position. I want my elbows in front of me. I don't want them at an angle for this one, so I'm going to pull them in, and I'm going to keep my palms up. I'm going to make sure that I'm not locking out my arms all the way for this one. Not for the preacher curls. It's a really big pull or position to pull from, especially if we're going heavy. If you did this with like really, really lightweight, that'd be different, but not with what we're doing in here. All right, so stopping slightly before that lockout and then right back up. I do not need to go all the way to here because the tension of the bicep is going to stop right around here. So you'll feel how it gets heavier through here, and as you pull, you might end up doing a few of these, but it gets significantly lighter through here, but much, much heavier through here because the angle's changing. So it's something you're going to want to watch on as you're performing this movement. Okay, this is going to be 5 sets of 8 reps. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? We're going to be doing some wood chops today. All right, so this is going to be low to high wood chops. I'm going to make sure I step out because I'm going to be rotating down, All right, so I'm rotating towards the machine. All right, notice I'm starting from it sideways. I'm not too far in front of it. Okay, this one's going to be beside me, starting off. So rotating down, my back is still straight. I'm not leaning over as I rotate. My legs can pivot with me. I can come off this heel if I need to. I'm going to think a diagonal line. All right, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to draw a diagonal line. Okay, so here's how I'm grabbing it as well. My 2 pointer fingers is going to be doing most of the grabbing. So I'm going to put one hand all at the end, grab. I'm going to put this hand all at the end, grab, and then my fingers are just going to have to overlap like that, all right? It's not as a secure grip like this. It might slip out. You might have to grab funky or hunch over to treat it differently. So you're trying to grab at least with your 2 pointer fingers, and then all the other fingers overlap. What hand in front? Doesn't matter. You just pick, okay? So I'm going to go 5 sets of 10 reps facing one way, low to high. And then same thing. I'm just going to turn around, making sure I'm backed up enough. If I'm too close, I'm going to clank every time, right? That's not what we want. So I need some room. To draw that diagonal line. Again, I'm hinging straight through here. Okay, I'm not coming down and then up, or especially when you're up, overextending and arching the back, okay? Pushing the hips forward. That's not what we want. I'm focusing on that neutral position, so when I go overhead, it's the same thing. I'm not going overhead like that. Okay, moving on, we are going to be doing, you can call these skull crushers or overhead extensions. It's going to be on the Smith machine, okay? It's going to be 5 sets of 8 reps. You could think of that if this was higher, it would be easier. If this was lower, it would be harder, like heavier wise. That's how you would increase the weight. So think like 10 pounds is up here, 100 pounds is down there, right? So I'll start with this one. So I'm going to grab, if I was going to do skull crushers with a barbell, I'm grabbing at least like some version of that, okay? Some people grab a little bit closer together, a little bit wider, somewhere around here, maybe like a thumb distance apart is a good start. I'm going to back up how much. Again, I got to play with it. It depends how tall I am and depends how heavy I want the movement to feel, okay? Closer would make the movement lighter. Farther away would also make the movement heavier. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to bring myself, lower myself towards the bar. All right, it's going to slip right behind my head and push myself back again, okay? I'm looking straight ahead and I'm keeping my elbows in my peripheral vision. So if I look down or straight ahead, wherever, I can tell if my elbows are doing this or not. All right, I kind of want to eyeball it and make sure they're staying in the right position, okay? Also, the elbows are going to want to separate, right, like that. You're going to want to draw them in. So this looks very similar to like a dumbbell overhead extension, right, or a kettlebell overhead extension. We've done barbell overhead extension. It's just a body weight one, okay? So again, if I want to make it harder, right, I just turn this handle out. So I'm just turning the handle out to unhook it, turning it back in to hook it, okay? So again, I can go all the way down on the last one. All right, this is another way to make it harder, right? I'm going to stretch out even longer. Or another way is I would pike up and then I would go more straight down, okay? This can't get any lower. So if I need to set up a barbell on one of the other racks and keep it low, that's fine as well, no problem. Because the lower it's going to be, the heavier it's going to be, okay? So again, I can either pike up, where I'm more in a pike position or like a pike push-up. Or I can stretch out really long like a plank and use my body weight that way. Again, this is going to be 5 sets of 8 reps. Our next movement, you're going to be supersetting with the overhead extensions, okay, is going to be concentric bicep curls. You can be on this kind of seat. You can be on a regular bench. That's fine as well. It doesn't have to be this one. So I'm going to be supported through here. All right, pretty much like the back of my tricep. I'm going to be supported on my leg. For this one, I do want you guys to go all the way down for a full lockout. Okay, I don't want to pull away from my arm for this one or swing my bottom leg around or anything like that. I'm using it as a support system to lock it in place. So again, locking all the way out for this one, coming up. That's going to be 5 sets of 8 reps as well. All right, everyone. Ending Saturday strength training and the week strength training is going to be a different variation of wood chops. It's going to be now high to low. It's going to be the same grip we talked about, right? Grip, grabbing with my pointer fingers, having my fingers overlap. I might be able to do a heavier weight on this one because I'm going to be now just pushing down the wood chops from low to high. That would be harder to do because I'm lifting something up versus pushing something down, okay? So you can adjust the weight a little bit on that. I do want the cable machine, same thing behind, beside me, right? Not too far forward where I'm like pulling it from behind me, trying to do the movement, okay? So right beside me, I have a nice wide stance. Again, I don't want to be close where I'm clanking every time. Arms are nice and straight, not shrugging. Now I'm going to pull that down roughly maybe where a barbell would sit, okay? So mid-shin or slightly below. I'm still shifting and leaning over. I can take that back knee off the floor. That's fine. I'm going to be pivoting into that hip. And I want my eyes to pretty much follow my hands. 5 sets of 10 reps. I'm going to go on one side, right? Coming over here, getting the space that I need. 10 reps on the other side. Again, I'm still leaning and turning with my back nice and straight, okay? I'm not coming up here and overextending my back and pushing my hips forward. I'm not curling my back down like this to bring that down. Focusing on pivoting through here as if I would be bending over like a deadlift. I'm just shifting my weight, rotating. So that's what I'm trying to feel.